Hello everyone, Rebekah here. Today we're going to be doing a more intermediate mat workout. We're going to start seated, cross-legged. Hands can come to the sides of the ribs. And we're going to start with our deep inhales and exhales. Good. In Pilates, we want to take a deep breath in through the nose. And then a nice ha exhale out through the mouth. Good, really expelling all of the air out of the lungs. Deep breath in. Exhale. Nice, a few more like this. Good. We're going to keep focusing on our deep breathing, but we're going to move our focus towards the tips of the lower ribs and also the tips of our ASIS bones. I'm placing a thumb on the bottom of my rib and my pointer finger on the top of my ASIS. And as I inhale, I feel them separate, get longer, and I feel the distance. And then as I exhale, I feel them come a little bit closer together. And this really helps me to engage my abdominals. Good. And see how much air you can really take in. Deep breath in through the nose. Good. See if you can make your torso an inch longer. Exhale. Nice. Let's go ahead and take that right arm up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to grab onto it with our left hand, reaching towards the left. Nice. Here we want to really draw both sits bones into the floor. So I'm thinking of drawing myself into a candy cane shape. I'm going up, 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 and then I'm going to the side. And deep breaths here. You want to inhale and exhale. Good, and we're holding it here. Deep breath in, expand out through the side ribs. Exhale, go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Inhale, you're welcome to come up a little bit, as we call it, to back off of the stretch. And then exhale, surrender into the stretch. Good, let's do the other side. Feel the torso get long, ribs expand, and exhale. Good. And really think about shooting to the corner of your room, less to the side wall, but to that upper corner. Nice. Keep pulling the abdominals up and in. Heavy sits bones. Good. And back center. Good. Let's do that side one more time. And up. Good. Flex at the wrists, lower the hands to the mat. Good. And we'll come a long ways down our mat. Grab onto the backs of the thighs, sit up nice and tall. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Good. And we're going to start to flex in the ankles and articulate the feet to a scooping sensation. So we're flexing and scooping. Good, like you're trying to pick up something with your toes. Good. Flex at the ankles and then add an arch into the spine. So we're letting the rocking of the heels affect the torso and affect the snake of the spine. Good. Flexing at the ankles, flex, elbows wide, pour the chest over the thighs. Good. And flex, maybe go a little bit deeper. Keep those abdominals engaged, keep that length of the torso. Good. Elbows stay wide. Good. Find your sits bones again and roll up. Good. Take a couple deep breaths here. Re-finding your breath. Re-engaging the low ribs to the top of the ASIS. Feeling the sits bones. Good. And now a bit like you've been punched in the gut, you want to tuck and go forward with the chest. So the lower back tucks and the chest rounds. Good. Inhale and pour over. Good. Lengthen the spine, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round. Good. Come to almost long arms, then extend chest up, and then chest pours over the legs into a rounded C curve. Lengthen the spine, chest lifts back up, eyes to the sky. C curve, eyes to the sky, and over. Good. And again. And lift the heart. Good. Hide the heart. And lift the heart. Good. Hide the heart. Go back behind the waist. Good. Then you go in front of the waist. But we're still initiating from the core. Couple more. Exhale. Rounding back. Good. This time we're going to round back and hold the fingertips up. Draw that right leg in and just drag it on the floor. Good. Coming to the ball of the foot and then flexing as you extend. Nice. If you like, you can advance it by adding a point as you bend the knee in towards the chest and then exhaling as you extend. Good. Deep breaths, everyone. Roll it back up. Hands to the backs of the thighs. Go up and over and forward. Pour your chest over the tops of the thighs. Round back into that C curve. We repeat on the left. Good. Drawing that knee into the chest. Maybe starting with just the foot flat. Then working it up to a ball of the foot and then a pointed foot. Nice, everyone. If you like, you can even increase the speed just to build a little more heat in those low abdominals. When you're ready, grab behind the backs of the thighs, lift the heart, lift the sternum to the sky, and then we're going to roll back into that C curve, coming all the way down. Good. Bring the heels in a little bit closer once you're flat onto the floor. And again, re-find your breath. Inhaling out through the side ribs, exhaling, scooping the low abdominals, transverse engage, pelvic floor engages. Nice. Take an inhale, hover those fingertips up off the mat. Good. Lengthen them up towards the ceiling, out to the side walls, and back down. Nice. And we're keeping the arms slightly in front of us. Good. Just like a port-de-bras. Nice. And think of the arms as you lift them up towards the ceiling. Go just an inch past the shoulders. Think of a high V or like that allongé. Good. And keeping the arms out long and just moving the pelvis. And this I'm just doing to test my lower abdominals. Good. Am I really neutral here? Nice. Take the arms out wide to the side, and then scoop the head and chest up. Flip the palms to face the ceiling, and then again begin that tuck and arch of the low belly. Good. Imprinting the spine deep in towards the chest, and then just lengthening out to neutral. So this is a really beautiful stretch for the lower spine as well. It's borrowed from Feldenkrais. Good. Now as you take this one, you're going to roll all the way up into a bridge, lower the ribs and the head and the chest all the way down. Nice. We're going to take a couple glute pumps here, but as you do this, I want you to think of spiraling the sacrum or the sits bones towards the knees. Yeah, sits bones reaching towards the knees, and a bit like you can really screw in the hips in that direction. Good. Plant all four corners of the feet. Good. And then begin to lower all the way down. Nice. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, re-find your breath, re-find your back, roll up. Nice. We're going to begin lowering the right hip. And as I do this, you can see my fingers are sort of trying to cue myself to simultaneously find that psoas connection and that hamstring to glute connection. So I'm dipping over to the right and helping myself by using the abdominals and the glutes to lift it back up. Good. Switch sides. So you could think of the sinking point as something, if we were to just release the muscles, and then we can train exactly which muscles to recruit in this position. Nice. And then re-find that spiraling action all the way down, even deeper than how you came up. Good. So we're really trying to deepen the abdominals here. Good. Walk the feet a little bit closer. And again, I'm going to find my bridge. I'm using sort of this image of ocean waves as sort of a cyclical way to think of the hips spiraling up. So just a couple different images for you to imagine and play with. Good. You take an inhale at the top, and then you lower all the way back down. And every time you come to the floor, you inhale, find your neutral, find your breath, and then exhale, reattach the ASIS to those lower ribs. Good. And you really want to think of a long diagonal here from the tips of the shoulders all the way to the knees. And then you're slowly melting that diagonal or turning it into a curve or like a J. Good. And I'm wiggling my hands here under my ribs because you don't want the ribs to lift in this position. You want to keep the ribs also diving towards the SIS. So it's not just the hips lifting, it's also the ribs reaching down. And I will often give the cue, ribs dive down. And so that's the physicality I'm after. Good. Let's lift the right arm. You're going to rotate the palm out to the side. and then switch the palm to face in towards the hip as you lower. Good. And we're just alternating one on each side, and then flat palm to come down. Nice. So I'm trying not to be overly critical of myself, but already here you can see that my ribs are lifted, and you can tell because there's a little space in my upper back. Yeah, so I could dive my ribs here a little more even as my arms are lifting. It's very small and very subtle, but that's kind of the work we're after, is small and subtle. Good. And then we're going to do both hands, and we're just going up and down. Good. You're welcome to take these much slower by creating some resistance. Good. And then as you do this, you want to continue isolating those ribs. Yes, because this is our prep for our chest lift. So we want to spiral the ribs down here. Keep that pelvis in neutral. Good. And then we're going to begin some marching here. So we're flexing at the right ankle, lifting from the abdominals, and then lowering with the abdominals. So we're trying our best not to lift from the hip flexor. We're really trying, and if it is the hip flexor engaging, we want the deepest hip flexor. So we're really shooting for the lower abdominals here to work, and it takes a lot of concentration. Good. Your breath is very helpful here. Every time you exhale, you can feel the leg be able to lift a little bit lighter. Good. That's your last one. Go ahead and lower both feet down to the floor. Lower the head and chest to the floor. Good. And we're just going to rock one hip over to the right, and then one more to the left. Good. And we're trying our best to keep the hips stable here. What we don't want to do is let the hip fall with the weight of the leg. We want to sort of isolate the hip joint from the pelvis. Good. We're going to push into the floor with the right, jump that leg into tabletop, open it, press into the left foot, and then come in and down. Other side, jump the leg into tabletop, open out to the side, and lower. Press into the left foot as you open to the right. Good. My breath here is inhale, prepare. Exhale, jump. Inhale, over, and then exhale, return. Good. Inhale, prepare. Or you can inhale as you lower the leg back down. Good, everyone. Go ahead and take the hands behind the back of the head. We're going to take our first classical chest lift. We're lifting with the elbows wide, gaze is towards the belly button, and I'm re-cueing my engagement of my lower ribs to my ASIS. Good. And I want to keep it. Yes, we want to keep squishing and keep diving the ribs down, 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 even as we lower. So think about keeping that connection as you lower the head and chest. Good. And even though the legs are still, they're very planted. They're not just sort of there. So feet are really active. Inner thighs are active. Good. Go ahead and place the palms behind the backs of the thighs. And we're going to help ourselves by curling up a little bit deeper. You're going to dive the chest down towards the floor a little bit more. And we're going to tuck the pelvis. Good. And then bring the chest up a little bit as you tuck the pelvis. Nice. And lower. Good. And tuck and lift the chest towards the pelvis. Good. Nice. Lower everything back down. Good. And we'll do that again. Coming up, grabbing onto the backs of the thighs. Good. This time just lift a little higher. Reach the right arm out alongside the right knee, right above it. Good. And we're going to go for a little side twist, a little oblique twist. Both fingertips reaching to the right, center, and then over to the left and center. Good. Try to keep your pelvis neutral. Good. Exhaling to twist. Inhale, reach up. And you want to keep reaching up on that diagonal. Good. Last one. Grab onto the backs of the thighs, lift an inch higher, and lower all the way back down. Good. I'm just going to adjust myself here. We're going to take the hands again back behind the head. Elbows stay wide. Good. We're going to take our oblique twist with the knee up. Nice. With our marching. So we're twisting to the right, left elbow to right knee, and center. Good. Lift up higher through center and switch. Good. And center. Nice. Lower the head and chest. And we'll do that one more time. Lifting up and twist. Good. Come all the way back down to the floor. We're going to re-find our marching here, and it's going to prepare us for what we do next. So just take a couple moments to re-find that connection from the low ribs to the ASIS as you lift the right leg and lower. Lift the left leg and lower. Good. Really try to initiate with the deep psoas and those transverse abdominals. So part of being a beginner in Pilates is a lot of repetition of very familiar movements. And this repetition allows us to then become familiar with the basic and more simple exercises that will help us when we try to get to the more advanced exercises. Good. That's the last one. Nice. We're going to take both legs up to tabletop. And we're going to do our heel taps. Just go as low as you can without the pelvis shifting into an anterior tilt. Good. Keep feeling the shoulder blades heavy into the mat. We're going to extend the right leg and bring it back to tabletop. Heel up towards the ceiling and inhale, left leg. Exhale, tabletop. From here, keep the pelvis nice and still. Right heel goes out on a slight diagonal and then returns back center. Left heel presses out like you're trying to push into a button and center. Good. Lots of energy reaching out through those heels. Nice. Inhale out. And now we're going to lower to a hover. Drag the foot all the way onto the floor and bring it all the way back in. Left side, keep reaching the left heel out nice and long. Heel drags in to meet the sits bones. Back up to tabletop. Inhale, abdominals hold that pelvis nice and still. Good. Exhale. Squeeze with the abdominals back to tabletop. Left leg, inhale. Exhale, drag onto the floor and center. Inhale out. Heel touch, drag to the floor and center. From here, you're going to finish with the left leg long onto the mat, and we're going to take our hip circles. Right leg reaches across, exhale, teardrop shape, down and up. Inhale, exhale. Good. And to keep some looseness in the neck, you can rock the head side to side. Good. Strong core. Big breath. Good. Flex in the ankles, abdominals engage. Everything returns back to tabletop. Other side. Both legs long. Right heel reaching out onto the floor. Left toes long. And inhale. Diagonal circles. Exhale. Good. And reversing. Heavy hips. Strong upper back, strong core. We're going to now do some what I call walking on the moon exercises. You go from tabletop, and then you're going to extend both legs out at the same time. Nice. And then we're going to do a version of this in external rotation. Think of it like you're a frog. You reach out in an extended L position, lower that bottom heel, tap it to the floor, lift it back up to meet the left. Inhale, tap, exhale, lift, tabletop. Inhale, exhale. Good, lift. And as you lower, left glute engages deeply. Exhale, abdominals, draw everything back in. Good. Keeping the pubic bone forward without tucking. Nice. Beautiful, everyone. Deep abdominals here, holding the legs and helping us make this a lot easier. We reach the heels out on a high diagonal, flexed ankles, and then return back in. Good, last one. Draw those knees into the chest, squeeze the legs together, and rock side to side. Good, release any tension in the lower spine. Nice, and we're going to take both of those legs back up towards the ceiling. Good, long toes. And we go for our corkscrew. Dipping the toes over to the right, bottom, left, stop at the top. Inhale, left, bottom, right, stop at the top. And inhale, right, bottom, and left, left, bottom, right, and center. Good. Keep it going. As we continue this movement, the hips are allowed to dip off, but you want to control the down by keeping the pubic bone up and forward, imprinting the lower back into the spine. Good. Take a deep breath in. Bring the legs back in, knees in towards the chest, flex in the ankles, arms reach back by the ears. We're taking our chest lift with some extension. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, palms reach by the sides of the hips. Long legs shoot out on the diagonal. Good. Inhale. Head and chest lower. Exhale, chest lift, curling up, diving the ribs down. And we're going to hold this position, then slowly walk the right knee into tabletop, left knee into tabletop. Good, and we're going to go for our hundreds, pumping the arms for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Keep the arms pumping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, and exhale, and in, and exhale, and in, and exhale. Keep the breath in. Curl up a little deeper. Exhale, and in. Exhale. Good, last one. Exhale. Good, everybody. Lower the chest. Lower the feet all the way down to the floor. Rest. Good. Take an inhale. We're going to reach the arms back behind us. Nice. And we're going to take a nice juicy bridge. Inhale. Exhale, lifting the hips 1 vertebrae at a time. Good. On your way down, you're going to take a chest lift. Good. Exhaling up. Inhaling to lower. Good. Exhale. Roll it up again into that bridge. Beautiful. Last one. Nice. Let's get ready for our roll up. Take an inhale. Exhale. Fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Exhale. Reach the fingertips up towards the toes. Keep rounding in the waist. Good. Coming down 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale. Exhale. And again, exhale to control it back down, really reaching out through the heels. Good. We're going to come all the way up seated onto our sits bones, and we're going to bring our knees super close to our chest. And just to test the stability of our core, we're going to just rock back onto our heels a couple times. Good. And then just lift the right leg all the way up to tabletop and left leg up to tabletop. Good. Really checking that you can feel your sits bones when your legs extend. Nice. And then we're coming into a big C curve with the legs a little bit closer to the chest. Nice. And we're going to again add in that leg. So you add in the chest curl, and then you add in lifting the right leg, lifting the left leg. Good. And down. Let's do that again. As you curl in, lift the right leg, hold it for the extension, curl in, left leg lifts, hold it for the extension. Nice, and we're going into our rock back. Good. Curling the spine to rock back, holding ourselves, extending the spine. Good, it's okay if you fall. Inhale, exhale, rock back. Inhale, come forward, long spine. Nice. And then we're going for our traditional rolling like a ball, grabbing onto the ankles, tips of the toes onto the mat. Good. And just holding the shape for an inhale. Exhale, rock it back. Nice. Just to the shoulder blades. Good. On the last one, we're going to hold onto the ankles, extend the legs up, chest lifts towards the ceiling, eyes look up towards the ceiling. Nice, everyone. Flex at the ankles, lower everything back down. We're going to come sitting nice and tall onto those sits bones. Wide V, as wide as the mat with the legs. Good. We're going to start by rounding over the waist. Good. And then rolling the spine back up. This is our spine stretch. Deep breath in. Active hands reaching forward. Energy out through the fingertips. Good. Find that deep C curve as you go forward. The pelvis here does not shift. So it's like we're sitting up against a wall. Pelvis stays exactly where it is. And we're able to do that by just rounding up and over the front of the waist. Good. Arms are going to reach out to our side. Let's go for our saw. Inhale, reach. Exhale, reach a little farther. Exhale, reach a little farther. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, exhale. In like a helicopter at the top. Exhale, exhale. Good. Tall on the sits bones every time you pass through center. And think opposite sits bone as you're reaching in towards the leg. Good. Really look back at that fingertip. Really look back at that back arm. Last one. Draw the legs close together and we'll roll all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Let's come on to our side for some side lying work. You'll bring the back of your body up against the flat part of your mat. Nice. And we start our leg lifts. Good. Abducting the leg as we lift, trying to keep the pelvis from lifting. Good. And now we're going to bring that bottom leg to the top leg and lower. So we lift, lift, squeeze, and down. 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 Keep going. Lift, lift, and squeeze, and down. Now we're going to pulse here for some beats inward. So we squeeze in and in, working the adductors and the abductors. And in, almost there. Good. Everything in. Draw both knees in towards the chest. Think of a tabletop position, but heels in line with the sits bones. Good. And we're doing our clamshells here. For this one, we don't want to rock back. We want to keep the hips pressing forward so we feel the glutes help us rotate. We're not just opening the leg as wide as we can, but we're squeezing the glute and sort of juicing the leg up and open. Nice. Try not to worry about how high the leg is just yet. Just go as wide as you can, keeping the core engaged. Nice. And let's come up and over to the other side. We start with our abducting hip lifts. Good. And now we lift, lift, and squeeze. So the bottom leg is trying to meet the top leg. Nice. Lift and squeeze. Good. And lift. Try to relax in the neck here. You don't have to lift as high. I could probably keep the leg a little lower as well. Good. Keep that right hand firmly pressing in. For our beats, we squeeze 1 and 2. Good. In and in and in and in. Really both sides trying to squeeze in equally, especially that bottom leg. Good. And then squeeze the knees in towards the chest or in line with the hips. Keep reaching that top hip back. Keep reaching that top hip down. Sits bones really geared toward that opposite wall. Nice. And we open and close that top leg. Good. Try to keep your core engaged here as well so the hips don't move back and forth. Nice, everyone. We are almost there. We're going to flip onto our bellies. Think of reaching the fingertips along the thighs and down towards the toes as you lift the head and chest. Engage the lower abdominals and peel the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Good. And then lower in the reverse direction. Deep breath in. Good. Try not to break at the neck. And exhale down. Nice, everyone. Keep squeezing those triceps in towards your ribs. Good. That's where you're really going to feel the mid-back lengthening and really on fire here. And then we'll bring the palms out wide into our goalpost position. We're going to come into a frog with the legs, squeezing the heels together. Think of a first position or your small V. And we're going to exhale, lift the head and chest, and send the heels out on a high diagonal. Lower the head and chest, return back to frog. Inhale to lengthen the upper back and the legs. Exhale, release the spine and lower. Inhale, really engaging in those glutes. Exhale. Good. And out. Almost there. In. Nice. And then draw the heels in towards one another for little beats. You're going to really feel those lower glutes. Bring it in and in and in and in. Good. And now point the ankles. Same thing. In and in and in and in. Last one. And parallel the legs, lower all the way back down. Hands underneath the shoulders, push into the mat. And exhale, round into your child's pose. Good, everyone. Begin to slow down your breath here. Find the sides of your ribs as you inhale, and exhale, draw the belly button up and in. Let's take one cat-cow. Tuck in the low belly, lift the knees off, send the heels down, send the sits bones up towards the ceiling. Good, begin to walk the hands back towards the feet, and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. Thank you so much, everybody. Remember, if you enjoyed this class, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Ciao, Bellas.